Hi everyone, and welcome back to our third video lesson. We're going to go ahead and jump right in and start looking at the pages that we talked about at the very end of our last lesson, talking about reading on the staff. So we're going to do just a really quick overview. So this is a staff, and it's nothing fancy. It's just 5 lines, and notes can either go on one of the 5 lines or the 4 spaces. And one staff basically equals 1 hand of music. So for piano music, we have 1 here and 1 here, and the top one is for the right hand, the bottom one is for the left hand, and then we connect them right there to show that this is all one line of music. So when we see music written this way, we read the whole thing from left to right. So we go over here, and if we want to know which notes actually correspond to these lines and spaces on the staff, we use clefs. So an important thing to know is that the treble clef does show the notes that are above middle C, which is the C that's in the middle of your piano. So the treble clef holds the notes that go above middle C, and the bass clef holds the notes that go below middle C. Basically, just means higher notes, higher sounds, and lower sounds. It's fairly simple, but something that a lot of people do not focus on that is extremely helpful is that these symbols, like why is this the symbol for higher sounds on the keyboard and why is this the symbol for lower sounds on the keyboard? You know, why couldn't they just use an up arrow and a down arrow or something like that? It's because they mean a lot more than that, actually, and they mean something that is really, really helpful. I tell my little kids that these clef symbols are actually secret agents. Treble and bass are just their secret agent identity, but their real names are F for bass clef and G for treble clef. Because if we look down here at the actual staff with both our treble and our bass clef, the line that runs through the swirl of the treble clef, the note that goes on that line is G. So we just look for that little swirl, the line that goes right through the middle of that, that's G. The bass clef, if we look for the line that runs through those 2 dots, it's F. And they are specifically, it's the G right above middle C, a few notes above middle C, and this is specifically the F that's a few notes below middle C. So these are our landmarks. They show us exactly where we are on the range of the keyboard from high to low. So you know that if a note goes on this line, it is the G that goes above middle C. If you see a note that's on this line, it is the F that goes below middle C. And as notes move, notes on a staff move from the line to the next space, to the next line, to the next space. We can see this pattern. Bass line, space line, space line, space line, space line. Middle C is a line. It's like a turtle. It carries its line on its back because it can float up a little bit higher if you're going to play it with the right hand and float down a little bit lower if you're going to play it with the left hand. And then space line, and so on and so forth. And when we have this kind of motion, this is how it looks when notes are next to each other, also known as steps, also known as seconds. So we can see that they go always following this pattern when we're moving sequentially from one note to the next. So with that little introduction, I think that it's usually easy to deal with this conceptually if we practice it, and it actually makes it a lot easier to do. So we're going to take some flashcards, and we're going to take a look at this first one first, and we're just going to look at our treble clef reading actually for our little warm-up today. So what we're going to do, I want you to just look at this and tell me what is the first note? This one right here. Okay, do you think you get it? Okay, so I'm going to show you how we can tell really easily. I'm just going to highlight my little line right here. Okay, so now do you remember which one it is? I hope so that you remember that this is a G. And anytime a note goes on this line right here, we know that it's a G. So here's what I want us to go do right now is I'm going to point to each individual note. Cap this so that I don't get marked all over my flashcard. I'm going to point to each individual note, and I want you to tell me when we're going to start here if this next note is stepping down, stepping up, or staying the same. So remember, up is going to be moving up the lines, down is going to be moving down the lines. Staying the same is going to be it stays on this exact same vertical plane. Okay, so let's go here, and I'm going to say it with you. I'll say it slow, so hopefully you can beat me to it, but we start, step down, step down, step down, step down, same, 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 step up, step up, step up, step up, same, same. Awesome! So now let's go ahead and say these note names out loud. Practice with me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Say it a couple times. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, now we're going to say it backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Excellent. You can read music. You're going to be great at this. So, as we step down, we go backwards alphabet. As we step up, we just go in the normal order of the alphabet. So if we start here, G, F, E, D, C, C, C. Still C, C, D, E, F, G, G, G. Okay, now they give you a little helpful hint here. You're going to put your finger 5 on that G, and we're going to go ahead and try playing this together. So I'm going to hold this up so that you can pause the video to look at this, and then I'm going to play it for you so that way you can check and make sure that you got it just right. But go ahead and pause and practice. And since we're in the treble clef, we're going to use our right hand to play this. So I'm going to go ahead and find my right hand, finger 5, I'm going to find my middle C, and I'm going to go to the G that's right above middle C. G, F, C, 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 Okay, did you get it? I bet you did. So we're going to do another one. And this one, I am just going to let you work on your own. So you find the starting note. It might be the same exact one as the starting note of the previous flashcard. And I want you to talk through stepping up, stepping down, or staying the same, and then add your letters. This one actually is easier. There's fewer letters on this one. And then I want you to find the proper starting note on the piano and then play it through, saying your note names, saying your finger numbers, any way that you feel is helpful for you to practice. So go ahead and do this one on your own. All right, and so we're going to keep working on flashcards like this. And next time, we'll also tackle some with a little bit of bass clef reading in there as well. So let's go ahead and open up your book now to page 30. And we're going to be introducing the idea of time signature as well. So when we learned about bar lines and measures, essentially we talked about the fact that our bar lines were divided into groups of 4 beats. When we set a time signature, that is what specifies how many beats get in each measure. One of the most common time signatures, so common that it's even referred to as common time, is 4/4. The top number here means that we have 4 beats in each measure, and the 4 at the bottom just means that the quarter note is the note that we're counting as 1 beat. So we can have the equivalent of 4 quarter notes in each measure. We could also have how many half notes in one measure of 4/4? 2, because each is 2 beats. They're 2 quarter notes long. We could also have how many whole notes? 1 whole note in each measure, because we have 4 beats in a whole note. We could do a 2 quarters and a half note, a dotted half note and 1 quarter note, etc. So the time signature simply specifies what each measure consists of. The measures are always going to be consistent, and this just tells us how many beats fill each measure. If we look over on the other page, just to skip ahead very briefly, we can also have 3/4 time. In 3/4 time, a dotted half note would get a whole measure because it gets 3 beats. So this is just saying, instead here, our measures are going to be organized by having 3 beats in each measure. The 4 just means that the quarter note is still getting a beat. So we can also have 2/4. You could do 1/4, if that would make a lot of sense. You could do 6/4, 8/4, 12/4. You could do many different things. And we'll get into that a little bit more as we go along as well. All right, and so then the other thing that we can do with time signature is also change the way that we count. So previously we've been counting our quarter notes as 1, 1, 1, 1. Half notes 1, 2, 1, 2. Whole notes 1, 2, 3, 4. When we add our time signature, we can count everything counting up to the total number of beats. So I can count 4 quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can count 2 half notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. A dotted half note and a quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really self-explanatory. So if you want to practice counting that way, you can use this little warm-up exercise right here. Clap, tap, count, or play this little exercise. So we're going to go down and we're going to look at our 4-beat alphabet. And what this is essentially having us work on is reading stepwise motion on the piano. That just means where notes are going up sequentially by a step or a second. So as we can see, our piece follows from the very beginning the pattern of space, line, 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 space, etc. So we can see that all we have to do is start this piece on one note and play up sequentially to the top. So we're going to begin by looking at this one. We're going to play this and say the letter names out loud, and then we're going to say our counts out loud. And once you get to that third measure, so it's first measure, second measure, third measure, when we play that A, B, when we get to middle C, which has a little line that runs through it, we're going to switch to playing our right hand finger 3. We're going to start with our left hand finger 3, and then we're going to play our right hand finger 3 once we get to that middle point. Okay? So I'm going to start on the A. Middle C is right here. I'm going to go down. There's a A that's close to middle C. I'm going to go down to the lower A. Okay? So I'm going to play just with my finger 3, and we're going to start by saying letter names out loud. 1, 2, ready, go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 2, A, C, right hand, C, E, A, B, C, D, E, F, E. Excellent job. Okay, let's go ahead and do that again. And this time we're just going to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to put a little bit of an accent where you play a little bit louder and heavier on the first beat of each measure. So the first note of each measure, the 1 in your counting pattern. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, right hand. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent job. So let's go ahead and look over at page 31. We're going to take a look at these counting warm-ups that we have here. So you are going to play, tap, count, sing through these warm-ups. One thing that's very important with counting in 3/4 is that you don't accidentally make the 3 2 counts. So if I counted this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I'm doing it wrong because notice I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's actually 2 beats in that 3. It should have a very different feeling to our symmetrical time signatures where we have an even number. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to make sure that each of those counts is the same length. So go ahead and tap, count, or play through these rhythm warm-ups here, and then we'll go down to our 3-beat alphabet. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing, exact same notes, exact same finger numbers. So this time we're going to not do our letter names because we did that with the previous one. You are welcome to practice that again if you would like to. So this time we're just going to do our counts, and we're going to start in the exact same place, same finger, and switch to our right hand the second time. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right hand. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. So go ahead and practice that a few more times until you feel like you've really got it. And then we're going to go ahead and switch over to page 32. And we're going to look at Yankee Doodle. So the first thing to do at the beginning of this piece is determine the time signature. So what I want you to do is go through each measure and count how many beats are present in each of these measures, and then determine the time signature. So I'll give you a little quick second to do that, and then I'll tell you what it is. So this is in 4/4 because I can count very easily. 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter notes, 2 quarter notes and a half note, etc. So this is in 4/4 is our time signature. So then the next thing that I would like for you to do is to clap through the rhythm of this piece from the beginning as you count out loud using you would count it from the beginning as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, until you feel like you're really comfortable counting with that 4-beat pattern for our musical measures. So then you are going to locate our starting hand position, and it shows us exactly where our right hand and our left hand notes go. So we are going to begin with our right hand thumb on C. Our left hand thumb is going to be on the B, right next to our right hand. So once we've found that starting hand position, something else that you can do to prep, if you would like to, is to circle the left hand notes in this piece. And you can determine the left hand notes because they're going to be in the bass clef, and they also are going to have the stems pointing down. So I'll demonstrate so you can see that. And that might be helpful if you are struggling to know where you're supposed to switch hands, or just to kind of help point that out so that it doesn't slow you down at all. So we're going to go ahead and try it one time. The first time we're going to play it through saying our finger numbers out loud. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. Left hand, 1. Right hand, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left hand, 1, 3, 2, 1. Right hand, 1. Excellent job. So I would like for you to go ahead and practice that one, saying your finger numbers again if you need to, and then practice saying letter names, and then practice saying counts, and then come back and we will do our teacher accompaniment part after you have practiced that a few times. Okay, so make sure that you're playing up high on the piano, and I will go ahead and count us in. 1, 2, ready, go. And then I'm also going to do a fast version of the teacher part for those of you who are speed demons on this piece and want to be able to play it a little bit faster. 1, 2, ready, go. Excellent job. Very nice work. All right, so we're going to now turn over to page 33, and we're going to look at 2 more melodies that we have available. So first, looking at Row, Row, Row Your Boat, you're going to determine the time signature of this piece. So go ahead and count through the value of the beats in each measure and determine what is the time signature. This one is in 3, 4. For our purposes right now, the 4 is pretty much always going to be at the bottom. And the 3, exactly, we have 3 beats in each measure, so it's going to be in 3, 4. So, and we're going to be in the exact same hand position as we were for Yankee Doodle. Our right hand thumb on C, our left hand thumb on B, right next door to each other. And we're going to go ahead and play this through, saying our finger numbers out loud first. 1, ready, go. 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, right hand, 1, 2. Excellent. So go ahead and practice that now, saying the letter names out loud and the counts out loud, and challenge yourself and see if you can figure out the notes to the rest of the melody. The merrily, 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 merrily. and see if you can figure that out. And then we're going to look at the next one. So for our next piece down here, we have clock tower bells. So go ahead and take a peek at this one and see if you can figure out what the names of what the time signature of this piece is. And this one is also in 3/4, excellent. And the exact same hand position as it was for the first piece. So let's go through this one together, and instead of saying our counts, let's say our note names for practice here. 1, ready, go. C, D, G, and hold. G, D, E, C, and hold. D, C, G, and hold. G, D, E, C, and hold. Excellent job. So what I would like for you to do is practice this one again, this time saying the counts and maybe another time saying your finger numbers if you find that helpful for your practice. You can also practice this one by holding down the damper pedal on your piano, which is again the far right pedal or the only pedal you have if you have a keyboard. Then you can challenge yourself with a transposition exercise and play this piece using this hand position down here. See if you can find this hand position and play this song exactly the same finger numbers, exactly the same contour of moving up and down, the exact same relationship of if it's stepping up or stepping down or staying the same, but just using these different notes, and see how that goes. All right, and so for the last song that we'll look at in this book today, go ahead and skip over page 34, and let's look at page 35, which is Catch a Falling Star. So we are going to determine the starting notes for our right hand, which plays in the first two measures. I'm sorry, our left hand, which plays in the first two measures, and our right hand, which plays from here. So you notice that there's a blank, and it says 2 on blank, 1 on blank. So can you determine what is this note? Remember, this line is F. Remember, this line is G. So our starting note for our left hand is a B. The starting note for our right hand is a D. So we're going to go ahead and find our fingers on those notes. And we're going to go ahead and practice playing this one by saying our note names out loud. The other thing to notice at the end is the tie at the very end of the piece. So that little line that connects those two notes in the two last measures means that instead of lifting and playing again, we simply hold that out for that entire value of 2 measures, which would be 8 beats. So let's go ahead and start this one from the very beginning, and we're going to say our note names out loud together. 1, 2, ready, go. B, 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 hold. C, B, 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 D, D, hold. B, hold. B, 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 D, C, B, E, D, and hold it. B, 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 C, B, 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 hold. B, hold. D, 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 hold. C, hold. B, and hold it. keep on holding. There you go. Great job. So if you will, continue to practice this piece by playing it with the finger numbers out loud and then counting out loud. And you may find it helpful to pencil in a few note names. Don't use pen because you want to be able to erase them when you haven't learned. You can also circle any gaps where we're not playing from one note to the next note. We can call that a skip. And you might also want to circle right-hand notes versus left-hand notes just to help you out with that. So then we'll come back and play the teacher part. So I'll give again a kind of slow version and then a little bit of a quicker version. And that's what we'll do. So I'll go ahead and try from the beginning. I'll count this in. 1, 2, ready, go. Excellent. And here is a little bit of a faster version. One, two, three, four, 1, 2, ready, go. Excellent. So that last version is probably a little bit fast, but that's about the tempo that the song is normally performed and sung. So I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to be able to play it like that. And then the last thing that you can do with this piece is to do a transposition to this hand position listed right here. So go ahead and give that a try. And this will really force you to focus on the distances between your notes. So stay the same, stay the same, stay the same, stepping up and stepping down. And it will be really, really good to continue working on your reading. Is Russian folk song on page 36 of your book. They're introducing here the new bass clef note A. This book tries to introduce notes that we're actually playing a little bit more gradually than you're able to understand them conceptually. So that's why we do the flashcards to help you kind of understand where the notes are and the logic of reading on the staff before we actually start to introduce those notes in the pieces that you're playing. So if you will go ahead and play through the left-hand warm-up on the middle of page 36, go ahead and try that together, saying the note names out loud as we play this. 1, 2, ready, go. C, B, A, B, C, B, A, B, C, B, A, B, together. 2, 3. Excellent job. And then you can repeat that several times. Be careful technically of moving your thumb too much around when you play. So some people tend to go C, B, and now their thumb is down here, A, B, and then they have to reach way back up to grab that C again. So make sure that your fingers are pulled forward. It is perfectly okay for your fingers to be near or even inside of the black keys when you're playing. All right, so the next step is to go ahead and identify the form that we talked about last time, with the idea of new sections and contrasting sections being labeled as A, B, A prime, etc. So if you would, go ahead and note through. They have it written in your book here, and pay attention to which lines are pretty much exactly the same and which lines are almost similar. This is really helpful for showing you that in the case of this piece, although it's 2 pages, we have A, which is repeated twice, B, which is repeated twice, and A prime at the very end, which means that realistically, this piece is actually only 2 lines that are repeated with one slight change at the very end. So that means it's actually a lot less music to learn than we might think from just looking at it. So let's go ahead and try playing this through from the beginning, counting out loud the rhythm of this piece. Our starting hand position is going to have our right hand thumb on C, right hand thumb on C and left hand thumb on C, left hand finger 3 on A, right hand finger 3 on E. This squished thumbs position is not super comfortable, but if you just relax your thumbs here, that'll make it a little bit easier to do. So let's go ahead and try this from the very beginning, counting out loud. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so go ahead and practice that through several times. You can practice counting, saying relevant note names, or finger numbers out loud, and then join me back for playing with the teacher part, and I'll provide a lower tempo version and then a little bit of a faster version as well. All right, so let's go ahead and give this piece a try with the duet. We'll do a slower version first and then a more up-tempo. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, and then here is a little bit of a faster version. 1, 2, ready, go. There we go. Excellent job. The next step that you can take with working on this piece is to transpose to the hand placement listed right here below, where your thumbs of your left and right hand will be sharing the note F. So a great way to practice this through is by, again, paying attention to the contour of the notes, the distances between the notes, also the finger numbers, and then you can challenge yourself to play it while saying the finger numbers out loud. So let's go ahead and turn the page and look at our next group. So over here again, they're now introducing the treble clef note F as something to add to our piece. They're also talking about the idea of legato or slur. So whenever we have these big long lines that go over a group of notes that are not the same. So we can see that we have a lot of different notes and this large line goes over them. That means that we're going to play with a connected, smooth sound. So you're going to attempt to make sure that there are very few gaps between when you're playing the notes. Does that mean that you're going to hold them all down at the same time? So not going, and you can notice that all three of my fingers are pressed down right now. But instead of going, that would be more of a slurred sound. So throughout this piece, practice playing with enough weight in your arm and a nice rounded motion with your wrist to be able to play smoothly and connectedly where we have our slurs. So let's go ahead and try this piece through. From the very beginning, we're in the same hand position as last time with thumbs on C. And I apologize, not thumbs on C, left hand thumb on C, right hand thumb on D. So your thumbs are going to be neighbors next to each other here. And let's go ahead and try playing this through, saying our counts out loud. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. So go ahead and practice this one through a few times until you feel comfortable playing again with the counting. You can also add saying the note names out loud or saying the finger numbers out loud, and then we'll come back to play the duet. All right, so here is the accompaniment at a slow tempo. 1, ready, go. All right, and here is the accompaniment at a little bit of a faster tempo. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. Excellent job. So the next way that you can deepen your learning with this piece a little bit would be to go through and assign those letter names that we use when talking about form. So try to identify which lines of music are the exact same, which ones are similar, and how many different sort of categories of line are there. We can expand beyond A and B. So if we have A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E. There's lots of different versions, but try to identify which lines are similar, which are exactly the same, which are contrasting, and label those accordingly. All right, let's go ahead and look at page 40 with a little bit of a technique exercise. So these aren't really songs per se, but more exercises to help us work on how we move our fingers and how we use our bodies to achieve the different sounds that we want to achieve with piano. So here we are learning two things. So we're focusing on those slurs. Again, you may want to go through and mark those if you need a reminder. And we're also learning about the octave sign. So this little dashed line, and where it says 8VA, means that we take exactly the notes written and we play them up one octave, which means we go up to the next note of the same letter name. So if I'm playing middle C, and then I have a middle C written with the octave sign over it, it means I just go up to the next C. And if we go down here to 15 with a dashed line, that means we go up 2 octaves. Don't tell me why it's not 16. I don't know. But 8 and then 15 is where we go up to the next one. So go ahead and circle those signs. And for the left hand, it means we go down. So if I have a middle C written and then I have an octave sign underneath, it means I go down to the next note of the same letter name. And the 15 means I go down 2 octaves. All right, so let's go ahead and give this a try. You're going to want to keep a nice rounded hand shape, firm fingertips, and when we go up to the group, you're going to gently lift your wrist and move. So let's go ahead and try saying finger numbers out loud with the right hand part. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, jump. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, and this is a tie, so we're going to hold. And then you can repeat from the very beginning. So practice that one several times until you feel really comfortable with doing those octave jumps. Especially try to see if you can do the octave jumps without looking. You may think there's no way that out of all of the keys of the piano, I'm going to possibly jump to the right one. But you would be surprised. If you challenge yourself, you just might be able to get it. And it's an excellent skill to be able to practice, to have a little bit of muscle memory of what jumping those distances feels like. And then after you've practiced it several times as it's written, I want you to try doing this exercise starting on a G. So you're going to follow that same pattern of step, 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 jump to the next G, step, 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 jump to the next G, okay? So if you will do it starting on G and A. And as we know, our A position has a little bit of a different sound to it, so we're going to get some contrast there. Let's go ahead and try, after you practice that, come back and let's do the left hand exercise. So once again, starting on middle C, and we'll say our finger numbers out loud. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, jump. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Jump. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. So I'd like for you to do the same thing with the left hand exercise. Practice that several times until you've got it really comfortable. Then try it starting on a G and then starting on an A. The other thing that you can do with both of these exercises is try playing them with the notes that are written, but starting on different finger numbers. So you can do the first exercise starting on C, but this time start with finger 2. So it'll be 2, 3, 4, 3, jump. 2, 3, 4, 3. And then you can do the same thing starting on 3. 3, 4, 5, 4. 3, 4, 5, 4. And same thing with your left hand. You can start on finger 2 and then start on finger 3. So doing those exercises would be an excellent warm-up to your practice sessions. So go ahead and make sure that you're practicing it in all of those different combinations to get the maximum benefit from this exercise. All right, and here we go with our 5-finger patterns for this week, which is our D major and A major. So, as always, I recommend that you take a look at the pattern of half steps and whole steps, that you try this hand separately, right hand, then left hand alone until you feel really comfortable. Then I'll say it with the note names, then with the finger numbers, and then give you an example all by itself. So here we start on D major, right hand, thumb on D, left hand, pinky on D. Ready, go! D, E, F sharp, G, A, G, F sharp, E, D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D. Then all together, numbers, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. And blocked chord all alone. Excellent, and now here is A major, black key in the middle for this one, also just like D major. Right hand thumb on A, left hand pinky on A, here we go. A, B, C sharp, D, E, D, C sharp, B, A, C sharp, E, C sharp, A, and blocked chord, finger numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, and blocked chord. Perfect, and that's all you have for this week as well.